Good morning, Christina. Can you hear me?
Yes. Good morning.
Thank you.
I
It
figure
took me, oh,
I'm going
I
all the
know.
highways.
Last week it took me three times of trying to get in before I've been doing this from home and I came in and so, oh my God. Yeah, operator error big time.
There's always something. Well, I'm gonna go off a video for a little bit, need a
Go
snack.
ahead. Yeah.
I guess my only question is I'll be able to share my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Good morning, Mama and Papa.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning. I checked. I worked this week.
Yay. How's everybody's morning going so far?
Good.
So far, so good? Good deal. Hmm. All right, we'll give everybody a couple of minutes to see if we can get some additional participants jumping on here. Here we go. Now I can see.
I don't get it.
All right, let's go ahead and get started. People are going to continue jumping in and joining, but I am going to give me 1 second. I'm going to share my screen here. And go ahead and get started. So everybody could stand for a moment and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. All right, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And if you could bow your heads for a moment this morning, we'll go ahead and have our morning prayer. Almighty Father, please help us to remember that you are our only source of healing and health. In you, there is calm. There is only true peace in the universe. Grant to each one of us, your children, an awareness of your presence, and give us perfect confidence in you. In all pain and weariness and anxiety, teach us to yield ourselves to your never-failing care, knowing that your love and power surround us, trusting in your wisdom and providence to give us health and strength and peace when we need it most. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. And for the 4-way test this morning, of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? All right. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing for a moment. Looks like we still have people joining in. As of right now, we do have 14 Rotarians. We have our guest speaker today, who is Mayor Christina Muryn. So we are very excited to have her joining us here today. Thank you so much, Christina, for jumping in. We're very excited to hear what you have to share with us today about what's going on and kind of what to expect for the year. Before we get to that, let's go ahead and start our morning off with some trivia from Mr. Klein.
All right, President Aaron, how are you doing on this fine Wednesday morning?
Doing well. Haven't had enough coffee yet, but excited to see everybody else's smiling faces this morning. How about you?
Same here, just looking out across this vast interwebs and seeing all these friendly faces really warms my heart. So makes me feel better. Are you ready for trivia, President Aaron?
I'm extremely ready. That's my favorite thing about Wednesday mornings.
All of today's questions are about famous remakes, famous cover songs. Here's how we're going to do this. I'm going to give you the name of the song and one of the performers that performed the song. They may have written it and performed it. They may have been the one that covered it, but I'm going to give you one of the performers that performed the song, and I'm going to give you the name of the song. You have to give me the other performer. Okay?
Okay. Everybody ready?
All right.
This is open trivia for everybody, so jump in if you know it.
So here we go. First question. And it can be kind of, here we go. I got 6 questions today. I was on a roll last night putting these together and I just kept going. So I got 6 today. Here we go. Jimi Hendrix, All Along the Watchtower. So give me the name of the other artist that performed that song.
Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan is correct.
Nice.
He was grinning.
Trivia killing Bob Dylan. Good job. All right. Okay, next one. Manfred Mann had a hit with this back in 77, Blinded by the Light. The song was Blinded by the Light in 77. Manfred Mann sang it. Who originally did that song?
I can sing it.
Everybody knows that song, right? Everyone knows that song, right?
Yes.
By the light.
Sing it for everybody. Will it jog everybody's memory?
By the light, wrapped up like a dude, runner in the night.
Oh, God.
Anyone else?
Bruce Springsteen.
Guesses.
Bruce Springsteen.
Springsteen is correct.
Good job, Lori.
No, it was
Springsteen song that a Manfred Mann covered and had a hit with it. So very interesting.
Really?
All right, here's a good one. This the Rolling Stones, Satisfaction. Who covered Satisfaction? They're an Ohio band.
what?
Audio.
Dancing in 98 degrees.
I'll know it after I hear it. Sure.
They wore like red flower pots on their head.
Oh,
Devo?
Devo is correct.
Nice. Good job, Nicole.
I didn't even know they were from Ohio.
The Devo version of Satisfaction is awesome. It is
I'm an 80s
awesome.
kid. What can I say?
I'm gonna have to play it today.
Oh, from Akron. From Akron, Ohio. Okay, here we go. Whitney Houston, I Will Always Love You.
Dolly Parton.
Dolly Parton is correct. Who got that?
That was Nicole. Good job.
All right. Okay.
Hey, Aaron.
I was muted.
I heard that.
Clapton, I Shot the Sheriff.
Bob Marley and the Wailers.
Yep.
Bob Marley and the Wailers is correct. You are on a roll this morning, young man. Good job.
Absolutely. Good job, Patrick.
Next question. Here we go. Kate O'Connor, Nothing Compares to You.
I don't know.
She did such a great job with that one.
Lost my.
Kate O'Connor, Nothing Compares to You. Remember Sinead O'Connor? She had the shaved head.
Yep.
Yes.
Covered the song. Who originally did that song?
No idea.
I see a lot of blank faces.
Prince. Prince. That is a Prince. Sinead O'Connor covered. Nothing Compares to You. Yes.
Really?
Fact about Prince, Prince left us back in 2016. And if you will all recall, Prince was a very flamboyant dresser. He would take the stage in these purple frilly outfits and clothes. After Prince died, the administrators of his estate went into his house, Paisley Park there in Minneapolis. He has no normal clothes. He's dressed like that all the time. Interesting fact about
Awesome.
He was amazing. For him.
all the time.
That's funny.
Thank you, Madam President.
Is that everything? Was that all 6 questions?
That's all 6 questions. That's all I got. You guys pour me out.
Okay, I lost count. We just got so into it. Thank you so much, Mr. Klein. We really appreciate that.
Yes.
Now I got a list of songs that I need to play in the office today. Get me going. All right, let's go through, share a little bit about what we're happy for today. So let's start with Chris Wren. How about you? What are you happy for today?
Well, first of all, can ever?
Yep, I
mute?
can hear you.
All right. So first of all, I'm happy that we have the mayor with us this morning, putting with Matt's tribute. I just on the record, I was muted, and I questions correct, but I was muted. So
Well, we're happy that you have the answers.
I'm just here. Welcome, Mayor, to our wonderful group here on whatever this is, Cisco meetings. All right.
All right, thanks for sharing. All right, Jeff Rachel, how about you? What are you happy for today?
can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. As a runner, I'm happy with this so far, this mild winter that we've had and everything like that. It's provided a lot of good days outside and everything else, not too bad. Been able to slice and dice between the ice. But I'm leaving next week for Utah, and I need snow now. So if anybody can do the snow dance, I need some snow.
Well,
Is it
that's
low out there?
Not very much.
Really?
They only have 80 inches out there right now, and they're used to probably closer to 250, 300 inches. So, yeah.
good luck. Don't hurt yourself.
Global warming.
Thanks, Jeff. All right, Amy, how about you? Are you able to share what you're happy for? You are. Here we go.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Sorry I'm on late. I am happy. We just found out that my youngest daughter, Molly, and her husband Dylan are expecting again. So Callie is going to have a brother or a sister. So this is number 7 grandchild for us.
Oh, congratulations. That's so exciting.
Thank
Aw.
you.
We're very excited for you.
Thank you.
All right. Dear Muryn, what are you happy for today?
Well, other than the obvious is getting to be with you all and getting to see some new faces from my Zoom meeting lately. You know what? I'm glad it's been a mild winter. I am not a winter weather person. And I'm also glad that it has been pretty safe. Like we haven't had any major storm and road issues and stuff like that. Good one.
I agree with you there. I'm not a big winter weather person, so I'm enjoying this right now. We are very happy to have you here with us today. All right. Christina Freya, you able to share what you're happy for?
Sure. It's the little things, guys. In this busy world of hybrid remote work, in-office work, my printer died at my home office, and I was able to fix it without calling IT. So I'm
Really impressive. Not sure I could ever boast that. All right. Janine, how about you? What are you happy for today?
Two things. I'm happy that Jeff Rachel survived his 50th birthday and still looks, pretty good. And second thing is my mother turns 90 on Sunday. She still sort of remembers who I am, but it's getting sadder every day. So happy that I can hopefully visit her on Sunday for her birthday.
Yep. Happy Wednesday.
We wish her a very happy birthday.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You were good.
How about you? What are you happy for today?
Did you say me?
I said Laura. Higher.
I was going to say, I couldn't tell.
She's muted. You hear me, Laura?
Sorry, missed that. Okay, so I have some time to be an observer of all things. So I noticed that, and I know the mayor's with us today, but lots of politicians seem to quote Abraham Lincoln. It's very, very favorite person to quote. So I'm going to make it my mission to find some quality quotes from our lesser known presidents like Martin Van Buren and James Polk, because I think they had to have said something interesting, but nobody ever quotes them. So I'm gonna work on that.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing.
No,
Laura, how about you? What are you happy for today?
Did you say me? Okay. As sometimes we hear our words coming out of our kids' mouths. So yesterday, you know how much I love my Arizona people. I was FaceTiming with my 3-year-old grandson, and said, say the ABCs. And he said, no, Mima said ABCs. So I did. And when I was done, he said, good job, Mima. So it's pretty funny when you hear a grown-up encouragement coming from a 3-year-old. So I love FaceTime, and it just the day that he gave me a big heads up. Good job, Mima.
That is awesome. That's adorable.
I don't know if everybody's getting a lot of like feedback and noise, but it's really difficult to hear right now. So maybe if everybody can go on mute if they're not speaking, that'll help.
Yeah, agreed. Thank you very much. Okay, perfect. That's much better. Thank you, everyone. All right. Going down the list here, Matt Klein. What are you happy for today?
Boy, it's just that time of year. We're in the middle of the winter, kind of the winter doldrums set in. Not a whole lot going on, nothing to look forward to. We're still dealing with this COVID pandemic. I mean, really, all I got is the Super Bowl's coming up. I'm looking forward to watching the Super Bowl in another week and a half. So, for what it's worth, sorry.
Well, that didn't sound very happy. These are happy dollars and happy thoughts. But we appreciate you sharing.
Hey, Super Bowl.
Yay, Super Bowl. All right. That's better. Nick, how about you? What are you happy for today?
Well, first I was sad because it was obvious with the questions today that maybe I wasn't born in the right era to know all the answers, but that's neither here nor there. One day I will be more versed in the music of other decades. I'll put a big to-do in my hat, Matt Klein, for that. But you know what I'm really happy about? I thought that Laura's idea was great. I think we should quote other presidents. The one that I think we should spend the most time trying to figure out is William Henry Harrison. Does anyone know why William Henry Harrison? No? I would love to know what he's known for in his 31 days as president. Thank you, Chris Wren. I see you. So I think we should find some obscure quotes from the president that served 31 days in office and utilize those in our daily life. And with that, that's my happy dollar.
I like that. I think that is a good idea. Thanks for bringing that up, Laura.
He basically gave his life to give his inaugural speech, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep.
Who knows what he said? That is a shame.
Oh. Well, we appreciate Nick bringing him up and making sure that we all now are interested enough to go out and do a little research on him. There we go. Brought him back to relevance.
Morning.
All right, Nicole, how about you? What are you happy for this morning?
96.9, no changes.
I am happy I get to start my morning with you guys, and then I get to rush out of here a couple minutes early because I have to hit a client's house, but their little girl who gets so excited when I walk in the door. She's like 2.5 and cold's coming. So I always think she's talking about it's going to be cold outside, and she's actually talking about me. So just beyond adorable, great way to start the day.
That is a great way to start the day. Have fun with that. All right. St. Patrick, how about you guys? What are you happy for today?
I guess I'm happy we're feeling much better. We had COVID last week, so we were pretty miserable last Wednesday. We thought for about, 10 seconds about joining you guys for the meeting, but decided we weren't up to it. But both feeling much better.
Well, and you're back with us this week.
So with 2 weeks of quarantine, I've been able to grow this really cool Wolverine beard.
I do like the Wolverine look. He's
I'm happy about that.
Actually, that's Abraham Lincoln look, since we're all talking about it.
There you go. Yeah. I love it. All right, Susie, how about you? What are you happy for this morning?
Well, on Monday, my husband was on the video with Rotary, and Bethany Rooney, who is the director, a TV director in Hollywood, was the guest. And so anyway, I hope we could get that tape from Noon Rotary. She's so interesting that local person, I don't know, she's in her 50s or something like that, lives in Hollywood and has directed NCIS. I think she was known originally for when she directed Somebody Quinn, Medicine Woman, something like that, a series. And she's going to do a Chicago Med coming up, and I don't know, a couple FBI or something like that. What she does very well. She's one of the first leading women directors for TV. Anyway, so interesting. So Nicole, maybe you can get that tape from somebody. All right. It'd be
Thanks
worth
for
it.
sharing. Yeah, that would be interesting. That'd be
I
very
am
neat
happy
see.
to
We'll have
do
look
that
into
because
that.
I'm
the program committee chair for the new Rotary. Don't hate me. But I'm a Rotarian, so that's good. And so I wasn't able to join either, so I'm glad they recorded it. So if they have that, I would be happy to send it over.
I would love it. Thank you. Look, Susie, I got on it.
Thank you so much. That would be really cool to see. Yeah, I love that idea. All right. Is there anybody that I missed? I can see there's a call-in user, but I don't know who it is. So anybody who would like to share happy dollars or happy thoughts this morning that we did not get to hear from? No? All right, then I'm going to go ahead and jump into some quick notes for club business. As a reminder, we also do record our meetings, and those are posted on our club website. We still need to get them out on our Facebook page, so I apologize. That's on me. I'll get that taken care of. Also, just a quick reminder on some scheduling items coming up this year. We do want to make sure that we keep September 17th through the 22nd open and available to keep the Mesa Bike Rally in mind. We have not gotten any updates yet, but we are tentatively hoping that that is going to still go forward, and we'll be able to count on that. And as long as it does, we want to make sure that we are participating and volunteering in any way that we can. Our Derby Gala right now is scheduled for May 1st. So that is still going to be on our calendar for this point at this point in time, and hopefully we'll be able to get to move forward with that. And for anybody who is interested in joining our next board meeting, that is scheduled for Tuesday, February 16th. So that is open to all members. If you have any thoughts or anything that you want to share, we would be happy to have you join. It's virtual as well, so just let me know and I can send you the link for that. Does anybody have anything additional that they want to share as far as something going on in the community or anything that we should know about as Rotarian members that we can be of service with or that we can help out in any way that you want to share right now? Nothing? Okay, well, if anything comes up, shoot me an email, give me a call. We do want to make sure that we're staying involved in anything that we're able to the extent that we are able to do so safely still at this point in time. So I am going to jump in. I have a brief introduction for Mayor Christina Muryn. I'm going to go through and then I will hand it off to her. So Christina Muryn won the mayoral election in 2019 and began her 4-year term in January 1st of 2020. What a great year to begin as mayor. She is a Findlay native. She is the third of 4 daughters of the late Michael, Terry, and Laura Wasson. Mayor Muryn graduated summa cum laude from the University of Findlay in 2014 with a Bachelor of Science in Economics and Marketing and a minor in Finance. She is also a graduate of the 2014 class of Joanne Davidson Ohio Leadership Institute. While at the University of Findlay, she served as student representative to the Board of Trustees, Student Government Association president for 2 terms, a Dana Scholar, service chair of Mortarboard Academic Honor Society, vice president of Aristos Eclectos Service Honor Society, and founding member of Delta Mu Delta Business Honor Society. Prior to becoming mayor, Christina served as the director of business and physician development for Pain Management Group, where she had worked for the previous 5 years. Mayor Muryn was the youngest member of Pain Management Group holding a director or higher level position. Mayor Muryn's work focused on providing alternatives to opioid use for patients suffering from acute and chronic pain. Her day-to-day responsibilities included such things as managing the physician development team,
negotiating contracts with hospital executives and attorneys, and preparing financial forecasts for potential programs. In the community, Mayor Muryn is a member of the Findlay Family YMCA Board of Directors, where she serves on the Finance Committee. Previously, she served as the chair of the not-for-profit Empowering Women into Leadership, treasurer of the Hancock County Young Republicans, committee woman of the Hancock County Republican Central Committee, and a mentor of the Findlay Young Professionals University of Findlay Mentorship Program. Mayor Muryn is also an active member of the Findlay Young Professionals Group, Hancock County Republican Party, and the Children's Ministry and Worship Ministry at New Life Assembly of God Church. Mayor Muryn married her husband, Tyler, in 2014, and they enjoy spoiling their nieces and nephews as much as possible. So if you could give a warm welcome to Mayor Christina Muryn, we are very excited to have you here with us today. Thank you very much.
Good morning. All right. Let's see. I tried to share my screen. Did it share?
Yep.
Okay.
It looks like it is. There we go. Yep. Oops. Oh, sorry. One second. You just.
Did I get muted? Okay.
Yep. There we go.
Well, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for having me. It's wonderful to see you all. And I'm going to try to go through, I have a lot of information. So I'll try to go through it relatively quickly because hopefully you'll see it a couple places over the next couple of weeks. But I really would love to have time for kind of question and discussion. Certainly this has been a very interesting year, not only to be the mayor, but to be a citizen in general. But overall, hopefully the message you walk away with is that our community is continues to be strong, both as citizens, as folks, as city operations. From an economic standpoint, we're faring just about as well as I think you can in this time. And then really, I'm looking forward to 2021, as I think we all are. We're moving forward, and the vaccines are on the horizon, and excited to get those out to everyone. So if you have a question throughout the presentation, please don't hesitate to send it via chat. That's probably going to be the easiest. And then I'll try to check to make sure I take a look at that periodically. All right, got to figure out what the commands are here. Maybe. Okay, so I'll start by going through a 2020 operations review. Just kind of wanted to hit on some high notes, kind of reiterate where the majority of our funds come from and go. So the city of Findlay, we have a 1% income tax. It's the lowest in the state of Ohio. That's where 78% of our revenue is generated from. The other revenues from fees, services, items like that. We try to put about 20% of our annual revenue towards capital improvements. So that's maintenance of roads, parks, traffic lights, water systems, all of the fun infrastructure that we manage, as well as then improvements. So for example, looking at doing the Strip Center, which I'll talk a little bit about, some of those items we can also fund with capital dollars. The other portion, goes to just general operations. Obviously, we're a service organization in essence, and so our personnel is our largest expense. But I really wanted to draw your attention to the bottom right here. This is a recap that we've been doing throughout the year for City Council. And what you can see is our original 2020 budget was the light blue. So we were projecting about 31 million, just over $31.5 million in revenue for the general fund total. So that's not just income tax, which I will hit on that in a second. Total revenue, while we were going through budgeting, we got told, hey, you know what, our revenue is actually probably going to be a little bit lower. So we started preparing for a slight drop. But really our revenue ended up coming in right around, sorry, I'm looking around my computer corner here because I have 3 screens going on, we ended up right around 32 million. So we ended up actually exceeding our revenue for the general fund this year. That's primarily due to funds received from the state, the Bureau of Workers' Comp refunds that folks were receiving, as well as then the CARES dollars. So total general fund revenue actually came in higher. But what you can see, which I'm very proud of, is obviously managing our expenses. And in the bottom, you can see that our 2020 budget was at just about 32.2 million. And we ended up managing our expenses to 28.4. So managing those expenses and making sure that we were able to live within our means. So just a couple of highlights on the income tax revenue. Let's see if okay, I don't have that. Our total income tax revenue ended up being 24.26 million. That is 1.34% over what our income tax projection was. So our income tax revenue came in strong, even though it was a little bit lower than 2019. Just wanted to point out that I'm not going to go through these, but something I'm really proud of, the City of Findlay does keep track of key performance indicators, looking at different services and how our departments operate. So obviously some things like ice usage this year and baseball fields were down significantly, but overall we were really meeting expectations with safety. These are all available for view. We update them quarterly and are available on our website. You go to findlayohio.com, government, and then transparency and performance. Those are kept on there, and there's a whole bunch more of them. Those are just the main ones that we put out there as well. So I just want to hit real quick on the projects that we accomplished this past year. One that I know people are still looking forward to, I get comments on all the time, is the intersection of Western and Sandusky and putting the light there and improving the flow. So that is something that we have been working with the railroad and have finally gotten permission to redesign. So we have started designs on that, and hopefully we'll start securing funding this year for that project. 236 widening in the multi-use path. Hopefully you've been out there to be able to utilize that roadway, which is great. Sandusky and Main Street, we have left turn signals. I know that's minor things, but things that I think about often and make a big difference. The Blanchard River Greenway Trail along East Main Cross, which we're going to continue to try to extend out to Riverbend. The Blanchard Street reconfiguration, I know, was a hot topic last time I was with you all. Lincoln Street multi-use path. I'll hit a little bit on 99 and 75 here later, and then looking at evaluating the Sandusky Street corridor and how we may be able to improve the flow there. So we did do a study on that. So 2021, again, going through our operations pretty quickly. Our proposed budget has expenditures of just under $30 million, with expected revenues right around $24 million. Obviously, that is a deficit budget, but as you can see, we manage our expenses pretty well. One thing we've really tried to do is get rid of the mentality within our organization of use it or lose it. Just because we feel like you end up spending money that you don't necessarily need to spend. And we want our folks to be very transparent in, if I have all the money that I need, here are all the things I can do. And if not, I can start kind of scaling back in these areas. And our department heads do a great job with that. And I think I took the one slide out. But we also have about $15 million in the bank. I say in the bank, in our unappropriated fund. So over a number of years, we had kind of slowly accumulated that while things have been good, keep recognizing that there was going to be an economic downturn. We didn't all think it was going to be from COVID and quite as drastic, but we've been preparing for that. And so if we do end up having to spend into our reserves, that's what they're there for. And so that's why we feel comfortable continuing to put out a deficit budget. And as you can see, just a recap of where the money comes from. All right, so I want to hit on a couple of things that you may see, and I'm sure we'll have some questions on. So a couple of things that we're working on here, we're hoping to implement, and I'll probably have it in front of council late in the next month or two, is the designated outdoor refreshment area, or ADORA. They're in communities across the state of Ohio. And what it is it's a designated area where the open container law does not apply as long as you are using a specific cup that is bought at one of the downtown establishments. So you can only use it at that point. You're then able to walk into different establishments. Downtown businesses can put a little icon on their door on whether they allow people to have drinks in their facility. So for example, Trends on Main, if they're having a downtown event and somebody goes from spot to spot and has a drink, or Art Walk is a prime example, folks would be able to walk around with that beverage to be able to enjoy the downtown area. The footprint that we're looking at for that, or that's proposed, is the Downtown Findlay Improvement District, which there's a map of on the City of Findlay website, but we'll be publishing that as well. And I just do want to point out, it does not circumvent any public intoxication laws and items like that. If somebody's walking around sloshed, that's not going to be okay. We're still going to manage that, and it's worked in a lot of other communities quite well. So be smart, but we want to create an environment, especially to support our downtown businesses as much as we can, to create a safe environment for citizens. If you're waiting for a table, grab your drink. You can stand outside and wait for a while, and just give them more flexibility in how they do that. So feel free to, and more information to follow. The mobile health clinic, I know, is kind of a recent hot topic, and is something that the Findlay Rotary has been talking about through the Noon Group for a number of years, and been raising funds for that to provide services throughout the community, to go to businesses, to be able to do different health screenings. There still is a population in our community that maybe doesn't have a relationship with a physician, or isn't getting regular screenings. And so what the goal of that would be is to really get out there and kind of build up relationships in some of these different communities, provide that accessibility. There's still transportation issues. So get out, do screenings, and then connect those folks into the healthcare system. So it's not going to be replacing people's doctors. It's not going to be, a facility where that's the only healthcare somebody is going to need. It's getting out, doing that initial screening, making that point of contact, helping people enroll for insurance, getting people connected to benefits if there are things in some of that population that just need a little extra hand holding. The health department has, health liaisons, community health liaisons that they're able to connect those folks with and help them get assistance. So obviously that also provides some benefit with getting the vaccine rolled out. It's going to be around for a while. Folks that don't get it immediately, as it becomes available this year, there's the possibility that we're going to have to do it like the flu shot, where there may be vaccines on a regular basis or some sort of boosters. So trying to make sure that we're kind of preemptive, and how can we prepare as a community to be able to assist with that. And I'll just make one more comment. There's so much information. Is that the City of Findlay, what I'm requesting the council to make an appropriation of is $150,000. That will help cover the initial purchase of the equipment, the retrofitting, as well as help pay for 2 years of operation. So it would be $700,000 for purchase of that and 2 years of operation. And kind of what the community partners that have been involved in the discussion have said is, we can help you fund and get that seed money and kind of get operational and give you that time to get it up and running. And then after that, the expectation would be that the health department is able to find outside funding through the different grants that the state makes available, federal opportunities for billing through their services, something like that. So it's scalable because the cost estimates are based off of the hours of service that they provide. So I think it provides a lot of great opportunity for the community. So I'm excited to continue to explore that. Western and Sandusky are going to be doing the engineering for that, as I mentioned earlier, continuing to look at expanding the Greenway Trail. And for those who may not be familiar, the Greenway Trail is kind of the sections I'm talking about is from on East Main Cross Street. Currently, we have the bike path, and it goes along the river and then kind of up to East Point, which is right there by Bright Road. The phase 2 would be looking at going from East Point underneath the Bright Road Bridge right there, up along the side, and then along Sandusky Street out to 236. And then the next phase would be 236 out to Riverbend. So we're really trying to start trying to connect different routes throughout our community with some of the main corridors, but then also off-street and designated routes to make our community a little more bike and pedestrian friendly for recreation, but also for folks who use that as their main source of transportation. So I'm excited about that. I would love to be able to get that out to the river and connect some of our, or out to the reservoir and park to connect some of our community amenities. Another big one is the 9975. That's something that's been talked about for a couple years, and we have gotten a lot of support from ODOT. That's a project that they really want to see happen because of level of service, but also because there's a lot of economic opportunity to develop in that area. So we've been working to put together what are the different designs, what should that look like. We got initial quotes from companies through ODOT. They put that together. We are now have chosen the specific design, but what I want to make clear, because sometimes when the news puts it out there, it's like this is happening tomorrow type situation. We are still a couple years out on this project. We've chosen this design, and that's so that we can then go to different funding sources and say, here's what we are doing. Here's, it helps to be able to say, now the city has paid for the design to be done, so we know what it looks like. And now U.S. Department of Transportation, we can submit to different grants, and it shows that one, we've already put money into the project, we have the designs, we know what the engineering would look like, so pretty much it's a ready project to then get funding support from. So we're still working through what the funding looks like. So that'll be probably a year or two out before we would even start construction. And then the final item, some things are not super glamorous, but they're things we have to do. So water transmitters, if you are on city water, you probably have had times where your bill has been higher and maybe you had a toilet running. Well, the water transmitters that we have are all are able to be read into our system automatically. So our folks are able to monitor them and call you and say, hey, your water looks like you may have a leak, or your toilet is running, or something like that. They're all on 2G infrastructure. And so as 2G is being phased out, and when I say phased out, if our equipment goes down for 2G today, the cellular companies are not replacing it anymore. And so what we would have to do is we would have to have folks go out and manually read all of our, 20,000 water transmitters. And so we have to upgrade that. Unfortunately, because we kind of kicked the can down the road for a couple years, and we are having to do the project, more expeditiously. And so we're working to purchase those and replace them. There's about 1,000 that are already out that we are manually reading. And I know of at least a couple of residents who got really high bills the other day because they didn't, we weren't out reading, daily. And it went 2 months, and somebody had a bill that is typically $300 for a duplex was $1,300. So they were not so happy when we said, well, it's because we couldn't catch it because your transmitter was broken. But we did work with them to get that bill lowered. Since that was an equipment issue, in my opinion, we shouldn't be penalizing them as significantly. So we worked with them to address that. All right, so 2020 highlights. You know what? Again, it was a difficult. I wish I could see more of your faces. I see like 4 people. I wish I could see more of you. Let's see if I can expand this real quick and see more of you. Yeah. Make sure you guys aren't all sleeping. That would be no bueno. So 2020 was crazy for sure, but we, again, were very fortunate that we were able to really continue operations. Our community adjusted well, and I'll touch a little bit on our COVID numbers, but you all have probably been paying attention to notice that everything got shut down in March. We've had very, very, very few cases, throughout the summer and everything like that. And then we saw it show up in October, and then we saw the spikes. And so we were fortunate that we didn't have cases for so long, but I think that also made it difficult for people to be like, this is something we still need to take seriously, because we just didn't really see it. Obviously, it's also hard because everybody reacts differently, and it's not that everybody is going to die if they get it. It's we can't have everybody getting sick all at once because our healthcare system cannot handle it. And so it's definitely been challenging to manage everybody's feelings on it. But I really appreciate everybody continuing to mask, continuing to social distance, continuing to avoid big gatherings. But still, you can still live life, still get with people, but in small groups. Be really smart and continue to support our businesses who have definitely been impacted by this, and we'll continue to get through it. Well, now let's see if it will switch. Okay, here we go. So just a couple of things that I'm really proud of that we were able to accomplish this year is the Hometown Heroes banners downtown. Hopefully you guys have been downtown and seen those. We plan to do our next round will be May through July of next year, so up for Memorial Day and 4th of July. So that is available on our website. If you know someone that you would like to honor, the application is online, and we're excited to continue that for years to come. We also continue to focus on housing and some of our issues. So we updated the zoning map. So hopefully some folks were positively impacted by that change, trying to make sure that folks' zoning matches the actual size and use of their property. So be able to have more flexibility with how they use their property. We had the virtual Memorial Day service. I don't know if you all saw that. Obviously, we would have much rather have had our traditional Memorial Day parade and had everybody together, but I am really proud that we were able to put that Memorial Day program together, and I thought it was beautiful. When I was preparing for this yesterday, I put it on and was listening to it again, and it just, it was great to see that and be able to honor our veterans and remember those that we have lost. So it was great. City of Findlay, we now stream all of our council meetings on YouTube. It's very exciting stuff if you ever want to tune in. But YouTube, Findlay, Ohio, and we have all of those council meetings are on there, as well as we've done some budget hearings and public meetings that way. So it's gone well. I can take very little credit for the fact that Starbucks now has an independent location in Findlay, but I will take credit for it just because, people said that if I can get a Starbucks and a Target, I'll be in office forever. But we've got Starbucks. So I'm on the right path. Sale of the mall, we're continuing to make progress with that and look forward to working with them to redevelop that. We don't have any specific plans at this point, but excited to work with that new developer and see how we can make that a better amenity in our community. We announced back in March that we did receive the Site Top Micropolitan Award again for 2019, which we received in 2020. And as you can see in the bottom right corner, that is actually all of the investments that were made in Hancock County within our logistics, manufacturing, plastics companies, all of these different businesses. They reinvested, $149 million into Hancock County through expansions, new capital equipment, different things like that. So we're still continuing to see a number of our businesses do very well. Whirlpool, I know, had a crazy year. They were the only North American large appliance producer that stayed open the entire time through COVID. And so they were going gangbusters. And then GVS, I'll just point out here on the left, I don't know if you guys can see my mouse, but here on the left, GVS is a local manufacturer that has previously done air filtration, and they quickly switched over and actually started making, because their European branch held a patent for these respirators, the N99s, N100s, and they quickly started making those, and they actually got the contract to supply the national stockpile, which will be a long-term contract, because the national stockpile, as we also learned during COVID, needs to be replenished every couple years so that the products can actually be used. They can't just sit in a warehouse for 20 years. The census, dear Lord, just would never end, but we got it done, and 98% of Hancock County households were enumerated, so that's great. Received $15 million in the state capital budget for flood mitigation, which I'll touch on a little bit more. Oh man, I do not have enough time. 50 North got some funds, as well as the YMCA for a child development center. We worked with the county to provide housing support funds through a number of our emergency agencies like Hope House and Open Arms. And then we also, the city of Findlay still has available, if anybody knows someone who would be interested, small business catalyst loans. These are loans of up to $10,000 that pretty much it's a 3-page application, 0% interest, 5-year loan if businesses are interested in that. So just kind of trying to provide some funds to help folks get through these challenging times and continue to invest in the community. So never did I ever think that I was going to have to become a public health expert serving as mayor, but I have really, even though it has been super challenging, I am so proud to be leading this community throughout this challenge and see how well our community works together. The hospital, Kareem Baroudi and his team at the health department, they have all just been fantastic to be able to and you know, day one when the governor announced that he was going to be shutting schools, I called a group of about 20 different community leaders from business, nonprofits, schools, university, all these, and I just said, okay, what are we going to do? How are we going to keep kids fed that aren't in school? How are we going to support this? What does it? And we just started game planning. And throughout this, I've just touched base pretty much weekly with that group of folks to make sure that we're all moving in the same direction. And I can tell you, as I talk to mayors across the country, we are in a much better place than many other communities where they are kind of all over the place. So I put this 2020 mayoral focus because when I did my State of the City in February of 2020, here are the areas that I was really going to be focusing on. And as you heard in the report, we definitely still accomplished a lot in those, but I wanted to call out, the coalition work was going to be focused on, how can we better improve all of this service, and by having those coalitions, though, when COVID hit, we saw how beneficial it was to have them, because the housing group had those relationships to say, what are the issues you're seeing within your clientele? With substance abuse, those organizations were able to say, okay, how do we help people through this? What is the mental health message? How do we do this? And so I just wanted to put those on there because they proved useful, though we still have a lot of work to do there. So my work is still going to continue, and I would go into all of these, but I just want to hit real quick. Flood mitigation, we're making a lot of progress. We're going to have some great news related to our overall flood levels here in the next couple of weeks as we work with the National Weather Service to actually change our flood stages. Because of the benefits that we are receiving from the phase 1 benching that was completed, we're seeing that benefit already. And so they're wanting to change that. And then the map that you see on the left is preliminary. Please know it is a draft, but I wanted to show you the yellow and pink. The area that is covered by the yellow is the current floodplain, and then with the work of phase 1 benching, phase 2 benching, which we're going to be working on here soon, and then the retention basin along Eagle Creek, which we're working, that $15 million we received from the state is helping fund. The pink is what will be the new floodplain area. So you can see there's a lot of property that is currently in the floodplain that will be removed with this work, which will be great. Some properties redeveloped, but some folks that just will not be impacted anymore by flood events, and therefore will also not be required to have flood insurance, which is very costly. So that's a lot of money going back into our citizens' pockets, which would be great. I'm going to skip over this stuff. We're tracking unemployment. I'm tracking wage information. I'm an economics nerd, so I look at this stuff all the time, which has been useful. You can see our COVID numbers over the last couple of months. This is as of yesterday. So you can see we had our numbers are stabilizing and going down pretty well, which is great. I know the governor said yesterday that if our hospitalizations stay stable this week, that he will look at lifting the curfew, which would be awesome. Just again, supporting some of our businesses. Obviously have to continue to do all the safety practices still. But we are still continuing to see impact in our community. For a while, we were having, 50 new cases a day, 50 to 100 new cases a day, which was concerning. And currently we only have 7 hospitalizations. So again, keep making sure that our numbers stay at a level that the hospital is able to manage is important. And unfortunately, we did have a couple of deaths yesterday. These are stats available on the state website, just tracking the hospitalizations by age and as well as death count by age and overall cases. Skip that. HancockPH.com, HancockPublicHealth.com. That is where you can pre-register. We do plan to continue to do a pre-registration process for all phases of the vaccine, but we don't know when we are going to have enough supply to move into any additional phases, as we still have a couple thousand people that are registered in phase 1A and 1B that are not vaccinated. So it's gonna take us a while when we're only getting a couple hundred vaccines a week. Okay, that was a lot of information, and I didn't leave a whole lot of time for questions, so I'm sorry. Always please feel free to reach out to me via mayor@findlayohio.com or social media, or call and schedule a meeting. I'm happy to answer questions. I'm going to stop sharing so I can see your beautiful faces again. If anybody has questions, yeah, good to see you guys. Anybody has questions, please feel free to throw it in the chat or unmute if there's a easy way to do it.
Anybody have any questions at the moment?
I just have one. That diagram of that interchange on 99, that's similar to the one up in Perrysburg, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it definitely takes some getting used to, but they work very well. So they get rid of those kind of the perpendicular angles where you get the kind of more dangerous crashes. It also allows people to continuous flow, depending on for some directions. And I was out at 99 and 75 last night, right around 5:30, and it gets stacked up over there with the truck traffic and people coming on and off 75 and the industrial park employees. And so this will really help, and I'm excited. So it takes some getting used to, but I think it'll be good.
That up in Perrysburg, that has made a worlds of difference up there. So
yeah,
looking forward to that.
Perfect. And one thing I want to mention related to flooding, because I know that there was a big article on the front page of the newspaper this week, is the project that is being done on Eagle Creek. We have no anticipation that there will be any forms of assessments on property owners. We are not doing any eminent domain. The first $15 million that was received from the state, the sun is coming up, beautiful, coming up. The first 15 million was used to acquire the majority of the property. The second 15 will acquire the rest of the property, as well as do the final designs. Environmental has already been done. What it will be, in essence, is a dry basin, similar. It's going to look almost like the reservoir. And then once the water gets to a certain level, it will go in. It'll flood that area first, and then it will be drained back out into Eagle Creek once the creek recedes. And what that will help do is what we typically see in flood events is we see a big spike because the water comes in very quickly and then it can't get out fast enough. And Eagle Creek and Blanchard River both peak at the same time. And so what this will do is help spread that out so that the water can move through the community at a more controlled rate. This is also, I obviously showed the impact on Findlay, but this will have an impact on the entire river area, because that you'll see the largest impact in downtown, but you'll see kind of it going out across from there, because it's going to, again, slow that overall peak as it moves through the river. It's not like once it gets out of here, then it's going to cause a big spike again. So I think that's important. It also is not going to cost $400 million. You know, when they put together design phases, you know, they say if you want to have it be this far deep and dig a new quarry, obviously things can get really pricey, but that's not what we're looking at. And I would expect it will cost, you know, on the low end of the estimates. And we're working to get that funding secured from the state and other sources because it obviously has a huge economic impact. So I just want to put that out there. I know there's a lot of discussion, and as we can share additional information, we will certainly put that out there as well.
That will absolutely be great to see. I think I can speak for all of us when I say it's definitely going to be much appreciated from most of the Findlay residents who've seen how bad it can get and how quickly we can see those floodplains rise. So we appreciate that very much.
Right.
I have a...
So, yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say two things I forgot to mention somehow. I am starting a monthly newsletter that is also going to be available. It's going to be kind of just a recap of things and almost like an update like this, like what are the things that happened this month. So you can sign up for that on findlayohio.com/newsletter. And then the other item is we will be here in the next couple of months, probably start talking about the phase 2 benching on the east side of the river and redevelopment of that property, which will be exciting.
Okay, awesome. I will go ahead and sign up for that newsletter because I think it'll be helpful for all of us to kind of be aware of what's going on here in the community, and we'll continue to share information as we meet as a club. So thank you for creating that and getting that set up. I think that'll be really nice to see. I had a quick question on the mobile health clinic. I know that that's been talked about for a little while. Do you know when that's actually going to be initiated? And you mentioned it's just going to be like the vaccine may be part of it, but is it really just kind of like basic examinations that how much are they going to be able to provide in terms of service, I guess?
Right. Yeah. So timeline is really going to depend on if council helps put this kind of the seed money into it. So I'm expecting, hopefully I'll have council members request legislation, and I would expect it to go at least 2, if not 3 readings through council. So we probably wouldn't approve any funds until early March. And then it's going to take, it's kind of hit or miss on how long it will take for them to purchase and retrofit it. Because they said it could take, you know, anywhere from 2 weeks to 8 weeks, depending on kind of where we get in the list, just based off of timing. Based off of services, it would have mental health screenings, addiction counseling. It would have 2 exam rooms in it, but it would also, you know, blood pressure screening, cholesterol screenings, minor blood draws. It has a ton of different services, and the health department's really been kind of leading the charge on what that would provide. So it wouldn't be anything super intense. It would be, you know, they may set up at a library in Macomb for a day and say, hey, come in, and people can be like, you know, I really didn't want to make a doctor's appointment for this, but I've been having this issue. And then they can say, okay, well, based off of that, like, let's do your blood pressure, let's do this. And you know what, yeah, you need to get a physician, let's get you connected with a physician. And then they would also do the follow-up to say, you know, did you do that? You know, so it's kind of some of that just, I don't want to say, you know, that preemptive involvement in the healthcare system would be the main focus. But they could also do vaccinations around school time. They could go to one of the schools and say, hey, we can do vaccinations. So that's a lot of different opportunities.
Yeah, it sounds like it's actually going to be a bit more extensive in terms of what the services can be offered than what I originally thought. So that's definitely a huge help, and especially for, like you said, the members of the community that aren't able to get out and see a doctor, at least having that initial check and making sure that some of those, you know, very basic items are being covered. It's awesome to hear that mental health screening is an option, because I know sometimes that's a bit intimidating for people and not knowing where to go to get that help. So I think that would be a huge benefit, certainly, to the community. So
and this is something I know I get a question, well, is it really needed in Hancock County? This really comes out of direct information from the community health assessment, which is done, you know, every 3 years. And so this is something that we have seen, that there is still a population that is not getting into the healthcare system.
Yeah, I believe that. That's good to hear that we were able to kind of pull that together, and thanks for spearheading that, getting that up and running.
I'm just coming along to get it over the finish line. A lot of other people have been doing the work.
Much appreciated. All right, does anybody else have any questions for Mayor Muryn before we let her go and get started with her day? No? All right, well, if we
good to see everybody.
Yep, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. If anybody has anything else, please just shoot me an email and we'll make sure that we get as much business taken care of as possible. If anybody thinks of anything that's going on in the community that you want to make sure that we're a part of and we're helping out with offering services wherever we can, please just let me know. And we'll make sure that we are getting involved in those areas. So thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Mayor Muryn. We appreciate you joining us today, and everybody go make it a great day. See you guys later.
Have a good day.